Welcome to Amazons. Today, I hope we have fathers watching us because we're seeking audience with you as we discuss reasons why fathers should play more active role in the lives of their children. Bimbo, how involved was your dad when you were growing up?
Not very involved. My dad worked, and he worked mostly outside Lagos. He wasn't in Lagos. He was a customs officer. He was posted from here to there, to there, to there. And he used to come home every one weekend a month just to touch base with us. And I think at one point in time, he was trying to have more time with us. So we used to, go to wherever he was based for holidays. But it was a holiday. It was something out of the home, something not the usual thing. My mom was in the house throughout. My dad was absolutely the breadwinner. I think that's what exists in a lot of families, though. You have the fathers so busy making a living for the children that sometimes, unfortunately, because of that, they're not there.
Aisha, would you say it's because of the economic situation, the financial situation? Would you say that's why fathers are not playing as much role as they should in the lives of their children today?
I think a lot of fathers have abandoned their responsibilities and roles, in raising up the children in the home to the mother and also to whoever is there to help. Most fathers these days are absentee fathers. Even at the weekends when they're supposed to be home, spending the time they lost during the week while they are at work with the children, they are engaged in social activities and also, going out. What you find these days is that a lot of children, a lot of homes do not have that emotional attachment to their fathers. What you have is emotional attachment to the mom. It is the mother who makes decisions. It is the mother who is there when the child has problems. It is mother who is there when there's PTA, Parents Teachers Association. It is the mother first, the mother second, the mother third. The only time the father is there, it is when it is absolutely necessary. In this case, when the mother is not around. And we need to draw the attention of the fathers to the fact that they should be as much as possible involved in raising up these children as much as the mothers are. You said in your opening remark that it takes two people to make a child. So it should also take these two people to raise a child. That's
But would you say that, I mean, this day and age of women actually going to the hospital to get, what do you call that thing?
Artificial insemination.
Artificial insemination. And, even though there's still someone who donated what they used and everything, a woman in that kind of situation and the father is not physically present because of the way the child came into this world. I mean, would you say children from that kind of mother would be different from children who actually have fathers who are not present?
In Africa, things are a lot different. And I think our fathers have always done what their fathers did. They learned from their fathers, and what their fathers taught them really was how to be an absentee father. But my dad, even though my dad, when we were growing up, I think the mother too has a huge role to play in this. I never thought for 1 minute that my father didn't care about us, that he didn't love us. I knew he was totally there for us because my mom explains to us totally that, when you ask, oh, we're doing something, daddy's not here, she'll tell you that daddy would love to be here. But he can't be here because you know what? He's in Kano or he's in Kaduna, making sure that you can have all these things that you want. So for me growing up, I never felt like my dad was never there.
Okay. Aisha, would you say the role of a father is more important in a male child's life than a female child's life?
You see, the teen years are very difficult to manage.
With a male child?
With a male child and the female child, even more so in the child of a male child. A mother can cope with when they are sweet babies, they are sweet children, they are lovely, you want to keep them as babies forever. But then when the teen years hit a male child, you have a lot of support that you need to get from a man to be able to guide that child towards the path where you know that he's heading in the right direction. You will allow him to make his choices, but the male influence and the fact that a male presence is there, you have, without being disrespectful to single parents. I'm a single parent, we give kudos to single parent, but the truth of the matter is it is demanding, You cannot be a father and a mother at the same time. It is absolutely impossible, unless in situations when it is absolutely necessary and where condition has made it so. Maybe the loss of a father. In that case, somebody else has to play the role.
We're going to take a short break and we'll be right back.
Although humans are capable of amazing resilience in the face of difficulty, few would argue that single parenting is ideal. An impressive body of research suggests that fathers and mothers make different, though equally important, contributions to the healthy development of children, and that neither parent is dispensable. This assertion is backed by statistics, which consistently point out that children who grew up without their fathers are more likely to suffer from various social problems. This fact, however, is lost on a lot of men who erroneously believe that the only duty they owe the children is to provide the financial resources for their upkeep.
Because of the situation in the country, the economic situation in the country, some people don't even have the time. It's just for them to run around to be able to get one thing or the other. Once they drop the money, the problem.
Going to school of the child, the father will pay. Rent, the father will pay. Gary is not at home, father will pay. For father to take care of all these things, I tell you, a good father, a responsible father at home cannot be better off to the mother in the area of child care.
Economic reasons seem valid and tenable in the face of harsh realities. But should a man abdicate his very important role as a father for any reason whatsoever?
I will tell you there is a difference between a father and a daddy. A father is the kind of person that just draws money and go. He doesn't really want to know what goes around in his house or home. It is not good enough for any father to do that. A daddy is a person who cares for the upbringing of the children, apart from doing the normal duty of dropping the money, paying the school fees, buying books and things like that. If a father should ensure, a daddy should ensure that his wards are going to school regularly, trying to check their books, even if not every day, at least randomly.
Clearly, fathers play an irreplaceable role in helping children become balanced citizens.
Parenting a child is different from fathering a child. Many of father today, daddy today, had only been successful to be a father, to have fathered a child, but they have not parented well. But I know also there are few of the dads that are in the community these days that have created time out of no time to ensure they pay attention to their children assignments, to pay attention to their children favorites. They watch TV with children at times when they come back from work early. And at weekend, I know many parents that I've chatted with that are father in particular that has used their weekend so positive in ensuring that they attend to the need of their children. But personally, we often advise that parents should see it as a priority to ensure that their children are well parented, they are well brought up by paying attention to their needs.
The role of the father in a relationship is dependent on how that man too was brought up. It depends on the values, the beliefs, the atmosphere, the circumstances, the cultural and behavioral patterns that he grew up with.
It so happens there are many legitimate fathers. Illegitimate in the sense that they have no right to call themselves fathers, because being a father is not just about procreation. It is something higher than that. I mean, essentially it is procreation, but beyond that, a father, if you take the cue of Jesus, our Father who art in heaven, all those things that he mentioned has to do a father as a nurturer, a father as a provider, a father as a protector, and a father as a disciplinarian.
Welcome back to Amazons. Today we're looking at reasons why fathers should take more active role in their children's life, especially the boy. What we're going to do is we're going to invite guests onto the show to also come and share their own opinion and also help us to look at the reasons why children really need the role of their fathers in their lives, especially in the formative years. We'll have Leila St. Matthew Daniel and Pastor Okechukwu Ogwezi join us on set.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Pastor. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Once again, we welcome you to Amazon. Thank you so much for taking time in your busy schedule to be. Just before you came in, what we're talking about is basically the reasons why fathers should play good roles, important roles, significant roles in the lives of their children, especially in the formative years. It's not about just the woman would spend the early years bringing up the child, nurturing the child, and then it gets to a point where she can't really do certain things, especially for the male child. And then we begin to ask the father or impose on the father to do it. And when we're just thinking, what are the reasons why a father should be present from day one? I say day one because as far as I'm concerned, he was present from conception. So therefore, there should be some kind of continuity all through the child's life.
Well, a father, like you said, it's not from the age of 10 or from the age of 11. The father must be present from day one because I guess it's a DNA situation or whatever. That's how it's meant to be because even from childhood, as a baby, the impact of a father's attention, a father's love, enables that child to be more adventurous, enables the child to be more expressive. And if you remember, I don't know if you can, the first word that comes out of a child's mouth is always dada, not the mother. So it's very important. There is a transference. There is an energy transference that has to come from the father that enables. Yes, the mother plays a significant role, but the father psychologically, cognitively, and emotionally transfers a positive vibe to that baby that then goes on to the different stages.
Thank you. Pastor, I'm coming to you here. And as a man of God, I know that the God we serve is not a confused God. So if he's made it in such a way that a man and a woman should be together before you can have a child, there's probably a reason there. I mean, what do you think is causing what we're having in today's society, where fathers are more playing the role of more of an essential father rather than a father who actively takes and plays an important role in the life of the children?
Well, the circumstances are not the same. The stories are not always the same. You have to take each situation within the context that it occurs in. There are fathers who do not play that role because of the circumstances of the birth of the child. And it so happens there are many legitimate fathers. Illegitimate in the sense that they have no right to call themselves fathers because being a father is not just about procreation. It is something higher than that. I mean, essentially it is procreation. But beyond that, a father, if you take the cue of Jesus, our Father who art in heaven, all those things that he mentioned has to do a father as a nurturer, a father as a provider, a father as a protector, and a father as a disciplinarian. And so being a father is much more embracing than giving birth, than the child being the seed of a man's body. And so, in cases where there is a proper situation where you have a husband and a wife, one of the major problems is that over the years, we have lost the skills. There are fathers, but you do not have fathers who have the skills to be fathers. You do not have fathers who were taught. There are so many things my father didn't teach me. And I have to teach them, my children, because I've read about them. I chose to study. I chose to learn about them. So essentially, the point we have to deal with is this. How much knowledge do the fathers have? Do we understand the significance of being a father? Do we understand the impact? It's not about giving birth, but it's about doing what it takes to be a father. And I often say there are many people who shouldn't even try to have children because they do not have the capacity to nurture children to maturity.
So if from creation the role of a man
Yes.
has been clearly defined and specified, and we are also talking about the family units
Yes.
and the role of the family in the larger, society that we have as Nigeria today or as the world, that what you make of the family unit is what becomes of the society. And what the father makes of the responsibility and the roles that have been defined for the father impacts on the family unit and by extension to the society. Why then does the man still find it difficult, some men still find it difficult to carry out that role and responsibility?
Well, let me link it to corruption. Corruption is usually a deviation from the proper thing. And speaking from the point of view of a pastor, so I will speak biblically. Adam lost the point when he was to take charge and guide the wife and tell the woman, no, we wouldn't go this way. He lost it at that point, and everything started on a downward spiral. You know where we are today. And so many things have been twisted. Now you have fathers who are not fathers. You have fathers who are molesters of their own daughters. You have fathers who are drunkards, there are fathers that should not be in the home because they represent the very worst of existence. And so why? Because we have deviated. We are pursuing things that are not right. I think, and if I use biblical language, it all boils down to the fact that we have lost connection with the head. Now you have all kinds of marriages. I mean, you have open marriages, you have gay marriages, you have all sorts. And we promote them because we believe in fundamental human rights of each individual. Every adult can, marriage cannot become between Adam and Steve or between Eve and Eve. And so there are so many things. You realize that things are not generally working the way they always ought to work. Relationships have been damaged. So many things have gone wrong. And so fathers are not exempt from the general malady that we face. And so that is just the point. There are so many things. We've lost connection with the head, who is God. Today we devalue that standard that we've been given by God. We've devalued it. We've used our own human understandings, human standards, humanism now, to deal with a lot of these things. And so once you have all of this, it's going to be difficult to have things exactly the way they ought to be.
Okay, Mrs. Tia, I'm going to ask you, because we put a lot of, we're always talking about bonding with the child, and we say we bond when it's a baby and you're carrying the baby and you're feeding the baby, because I know I've read a lot of people are putting out stories there now about, giving the father a bottle so he can feed the baby as well and bond with the baby. But some people don't have that luxury, maybe because of work or whatever reasons. Is there an age when it's impossible to bond with your child?
Well, it all depends on the circumstances that, didn't allow you to know your father at whatever age, whether 8, 9, 10, 20. It all depends, but there is a possibility of bonding. You read sometimes of people who were given up for adoption and, they were well looked after and they decided to try to find their biological father and, they try to bond. But like everything else, it cannot be the same as when you bond with, you've been there. Going trivial even. There are some friends that you meet down the road. You're very good friends, but you bond more with the friends that you started from rights, you know yourselves, from school. I mean, no matter what you become, that friend is able to tell you because there is a bonding. You see, bonding is such that it transcends what you can see. So it is possible.
I have a question for you, Pastor. Would you say or advise that because we want these fathers to play a more important role, should women put up with it for the sake of their children?
Well, you see, the point one has to take first is when you talk about a Christian and marriage, you will discover that it says the Bible, God hates divorce. But then I believe essentially in the fact that a marriage that is abusive, that could lead to loss of life, loss of whatever, you can put a break, then work on it. Because there are no bad marriages, there are just bad people. If you can work on the people, if we can work on our attitudes, if we can work on our behaviors, marriage is just abstract. It's two people coming together. There's no marriage without the people. And so if we can deal with ourselves, we can deal with whatever problems we have. And those are some of the things we deal with in premarital counseling, because a lot of I was talking to a young man yesterday who wants to marry, and I said, do you know the personality type of the woman you want to marry? This is the kind of person you are. And this is the kind of person this lady is. Are you sure you're going to cope? You see, the point is nobody has to put up with anything inhuman. In fact, there are some living together that can produce monsters in children. There are some things children will be exposed to that will damage them for life. And so where the need is from the beginning. And that is why the kind of program you are doing, that is why the churches and others need to come in. We do not need to allow things to deteriorate. We do not allow our selfishness, our self-centeredness, because that is what the problem is. The man wants to be the head, the man wants to dominate, and the woman would say, well, you are the head, but I'm the neck. Without the neck, the head can't turn, and you have problems, it's not going to work. So I think, essentially, the problem is not in coming together, essentially, because you can separate and create a life for those children, and you can actually make up later. What is happening now is that the woman, the man need to check, what role have I played? If my husband is a monster, have I played any role? If my wife is not doing well, have I played any role? Self-evaluation. And we need to have the society. Before we had families, orientations. You have, they say in my place, you are not married to just one man. Why? Because every person is interested. And there are people who will be there to help. There are people who will be there to care. And so we need to get to that point where we begin to work on ourselves, create forums forums that will help this in the society. And
I'd like to ask Mrs.
Can I
D.
say something about this? Well, as a psychologist and working with men and women, the role of the father in a relationship is dependent on how that man too was brought up. It depends on the values, the beliefs, the atmosphere, the circumstances, the cultural and behavioral patterns that he grew up with. It depends on how the man, the young man, perceived the way their father related with the mother. It depends on how the mother too relates with the father. And a lot of times, men who are psychologically cracked, they are unable to transfer downwards any love that is required. Because there are two different things. A man's role in a child's life, actually, psychologically, emotionally, educatively, you understand, is positive. When a man is active in a child's life, you find that 43% are more likely to be A students than out of it. But if a man is not active, there is nothing that can be done, and it does affect the way that child, especially the boy, the way he reacts with his peers, the way he reacts in school, the way he reacts at home. The girl, too, the way she reacts, her self-esteem, her self-confidence. And these all translate to where I work. Because most times when we deal with this dysfunctionality, you find that the man has come from a dysfunctional background. And most times, the woman has seen the traits. And because of the fix-it syndrome, that women are born nurturers, you try to say to yourself, oh, I can fix it. And so, thank you, somebody said yes. And you find that the boys, as they grow up, they react. You could have a father who is there and coaches you through education, the right way to go, but is lacking in love. It will affect that child. That child could do very well in school, but has suppressed anger, which could actually erupt and become aggressive. Some could be aggressive emotionally, some could be aggressive physically. We trace it backwards to that area. Coming to the spiritual, we say, because I have a conference coming on, we say that the role of the church has to be more positive. It's not just counseling and saying, are you two meant for one another? That's why we say when certain things are obvious, we need to begin to go a little bit deeper into therapy. In the Bible is there. I say NLP, we use neuro-linguistic programming. I say Jesus Christ is the first professional coach that there was, the first therapist that there is. And there are a lot of people in the Christendom that are not supposed to counsel, that are counseling and could give the wrong impression. And so you find that the boys retreat into themselves. They say, don't do this. But where is the solution? If you do this, this will happen. Okay, but I'm here now. What should I do? You understand? The girls too, half of them are being molested, but they can't speak out. And energy transfers to energy. You find that they attract themselves. These people will make bad mothers. These people will make bad fathers.
This is a very what you have just described now, Mrs. D. What you have just described now, Mrs. D, is a near-perfect situation, a near-perfect harmonious home. But in most cases, we do not have the narrative you've just given now. So in the case where we do not have all of this, when is it that is most critical for the father and the mother, or for a role model for the child to play the role of a father in the child's life, the most critical period?
0 to 8. We say psychologically that whatever is impressed on a child from the age of 0, actually we go into the womb, to 8, you have formed the perception, the persona, the reality of that child. From that point on, the child plays it out. That's why you find sometimes a child is 14 and starts playing out a negativity. And the mother says, I don't know where he got it from. Or the father says, it must be you. Or sometimes even when in single parenthood, what program was that child reading between 0 to 8 and is now reacting to it? Because at that 0 to 8, we say that is when, before then, it's like a video. They take everything in and take it in and take it in. Around the age of 8, and it has been proved, there comes an invisible gate that comes in, and it divides it into 90% and 10%. So actively, you only use about 10% all the time, but your program has gone into the 90%. So anything that comes, it flows in, and immediately the trigger, the subconscious reacts to it. So whether negatively or positively, whatever came in, even if it is good, it reacts. A girl who is misbehaving most times, and you wonder why. Why is she continuous? She's destructive. She keeps doing the very same thing that will get you into trouble. She's playing out something that she has already imbibed in. She has imbibed in lack of love. She has imbibed lack of self-esteem, self-confidence, self-worth. So in her subconscious says they don't expect anything from you anyway. So So she does that. Same thing at the boy. So it's not a perfect situation. That's why I said we're imperfect people in an imperfect world, imperfect relationship, imperfect everything. But the thing there is to try as best as possible to understand and work with this situation. And of course, the God factor comes in
as well.
In everything that you do, you take it back to the Lord in prayer, whichever religion you are, because remember, we didn't fall from the sky. We were created. So you take it. But we have a lot of role to play.
Mrs. D, I just wish we had so much time to actually, because honestly, I am enjoying listening to you. But you know what? Because of time, honestly, thank you so much. But I'm sure we'll be inviting you again. To come and talk to us. Honestly, thank you so much, Pastor, as well. I really appreciate you coming. I mean, as you've heard, Bimbo and Aisha, it's I mean, you learn so much. We're gonna have to take a short break, and when we come back, fathers, stay tuned. This is more important than football today. We'll be right back.
For us, we touch on exemplary lifestyle.
Exemplary lifestyle.
You know,
I can see the example because the husband has got his arm right behind his wife. Would you say you're doing that because your wife encourages you to do it?
Oh, sure. It must be teamwork, really. You know, nobody can see it all or knows it all. And these children have different personality traits, different character.
Yes.
You have to follow each of them that way.
Yeah.
And children, no matter what you say, what they see, they learn more.
Welcome back to Amazons. If you're just tuning in, we are talking about the reasons why fathers should be playing more roles in the lives of their children. And those fathers that were with us before, I hope you're still tuned in. We're going to have Dr. and Mrs. Okonkwo, but they're also known as Inge and Rich, join us on set. Thank you. Please have a seat. Thank you very much. Thank you. Welcome to Amazons. We've been discussing before you came on set about the importance and the reasons why a father should try and play a very, very important role in the lives of their children. And I don't believe, of my own opinion, I don't think there's a right way or a wrong way to do this thing. I think everything is always by the grace of God. You can only encourage people and tell people and advise people what to do, but then it's left to them, to do whatever it is that they want to do. And now, you are founders of Keeping Marriage Alive initiative. It's called KMA.
Yes, KMA.
So obviously, you must be preaching in what you do about the importance of this fatherly role that is so important to children.
Yes.
You do that?
Yes.
Yes, we do. And
No, go on.
okay, and for us, we touch on exemplary lifestyle.
Exemplary lifestyle.
You know,
I can see the example because the husband has got his arm right behind his wife.
So we talk about the exemplary lifestyle because, to use one example, when I was growing up, my mother would tell me, unity is everything. But when you come from a home where unity is not depicted daily, you don't understand what unity means. So you actually nod, And when your father says, I love you, but you've not seen it. So our parents are good at teaching us those things, but they don't know how to transfer it by living it. So we found the best way to teach it is to live it.
How much time do you spend with your children?
Okay, that's the paramount issue, really. Whatever you're going to show the children, you must be available for us to do that.
Okay.
So, but children are our most treasured blessings.
Yes.
So it's a question of putting your priorities right. You're working all that to provide money for them. Meanwhile, your presence, the emotional balance is even slightly more important than that money. So it's a question of making our time. We on the average, minimum 30 minutes, 1 hour daily. I personally, in fact, supervise their assignments so that no, you can't tell me you're missing it here. When I notice any little trend, I pass it over to my wife. That's if she's not there. Most of the time, she's even around.
Would you say you're doing that because your wife encourages you to do it?
Oh, sure. It must be teamwork, really. Nobody can see it all or knows it all. And these children have different personality traits, different character.
Yes.
You have to follow each of them that way.
Yeah.
And children, no matter what you say, what they see, they learn more.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yes.
Did your dad play an active role in your life when you were growing up?
Yes, he did. He did to the extent he knew, my dad and my mom, they were not close friends, really. So I had some problem with that when I got married now, And my wife is that loving, wanting to be close. I said, what's all this? I didn't know where to. But you can see I've caught on quite fast.
Yes, you have.
So really, we've been talking here about the strong role a father should play, a more active role in the lives of their children. What is it really that a man does in the life of children that a woman may not be able to do?
There's that part, yeah.
For me, I think security for daughters. When you grow up with a father that shows you love, it's easier to make the right choices when dating. You're more confident. I didn't have that time with my father, so I found out that when a guy says outside, "Hi, you're looking pretty," I'm searching for something. It's not the man I'm searching for. It's that thing my father hasn't yet told me. And by the time I noticed he wasn't coming home, and when we got married, the first few years were something else. Because if he's home late, I just replay it. Are you sure he's not replaying like my father? So it took a while for us to understand that my father is someone else, my husband is someone else. And sometimes we don't even sit down to identify why we're having issues. And for us, that was a serious issue. Because don't tell me you're becoming like him again. It took a while to separate both. And we need that. Our father's little presence is more important than any other thing.
And just to add to that, if you look at a kid that was, let's say a lady now, that was trained up by only the mother, the ladies tend to be excessively strong, independent. When a man is even coming for the hand in marriage, they will look at you, where you come from. They will look like, because they are used to their mother doing everything, so they are training themselves subconsciously to do everything.
Do you know, you just took the word out of my mouth. I was just about to ask you that. Is it true that ladies that grow up without their father can be very rude and they don't respect men?
It depends on the training. Not rude, but they'll be independent.
Self-independent.
Yes,
self-independent. Do you think they're disrespectful?
No. But it depends on the specific person, really. Some, if they can control it, they shouldn't be, but there's no need to be that. They shouldn't be rude. But some actually add to that.
I disagree,
some
Joe.
add to that.
You know why? I was trained more than my mom trained us.
That's why I said some.
So when you met us...
Not this one.
So when you met me, how was I? Was I rude to you?
No, you are great. You are still great.
No, but what I think is, you just want to protect yourself. Because you've seen this before. You believe there is a better future, but your reality is different from your better future. So you plan unconsciously, saying, okay, I need to be hard, I need to work for myself, I make sure I have my things for myself. And after a while, but if you need to work on the marriage, you need to step down on those. Like us, for a rule, we have Fridays situated for our children. We come home, we sit down, and we just play. It's 1 hour playing, but while playing, we learn certain traits we need to work on. And also they learn by example. They can also play and be more confident.
Okay. For Bimbo was talking about, in the case of single parents and those that are separated. Why is it that, in most cases for separated partners, the male children, or let me say the children, no matter how deserted the father has left them, when they grow up and they can, begin to ask questions, they want to know, they want to tend to go towards the father rather than the mother who has been there for them all the while. They want to go search for the fathers. Why is that so? I want to ask your husband.
Maybe some of the women Well, during separation, that's really an unfortunate and a bad thing. The children suffer so much. But if you don't portray your husband as a good person, when that happens, you're going to be in trouble. Because they will go meet the man, and luckily the man will be so happy to have them, pet them, spoil them. So, you've lost it. So it's better you tell them this, explain the whole situation to them, show your love, not trying to win them now. Just show your love plainly, allow them see their father, don't,
I think it has to do with an unknown quality. You know your mother. Everybody else has, well, most people have a mom and a dad, and you want to know who yours is, no matter who else is in your life, no matter how great they've been to you. You just want to know that person, because I figure that somewhere deep inside, from everything I've read and a few people I've talked to, it's about acceptance. You want acceptance from that person. You unintentionally blame yourself for the person's leaving or the person's absence in your life. You always think it's got something to do with you. Is there something that single mothers can do to help their children with this situation? What would you say?
I think one of the things is you're going to do a double work, actually. I call it double work, because if the father and the mother were more balanced, it's easier. But there's something I found out, it's a need. And when there is a need, they'll find a way. So you need to tell them, and let's say you always assume that those that have both parents are doing much better than you. So you feel, let me just go and make sure and find out. My parents were not really separated, but my mother did more of it. And after a while, he traveled often. So it was like you were not separated, but you're together. But I found out she did something for every one of us. She spent double time. And she kept on telling us, it's okay, I love you. God loves you. I love you, God loves you. As a mother now, I can see the sacrifice she did, because we came out at least better. But it can't do it alone. But you need to put in a lot of work into it. And ask yourself, if you have male figures like uncles, you have to be very careful. They could actually talk to, especially for the men. But for the ladies, I think we overlook that area, and the young ladies are actually affected. Because we replay the same thing in our marriages, every one of us. Unconsciously, you actually decide you will not do them. But when you get there, you see yourself picking certain things from there. So I think it's a need and more conscious effort on speaking about it, talking to them, being very open about it.
I have a firm where we sit down and we talk about issues and we try and look for ways to solve it within a little group and everything. And one of the things that I find is, and I can't understand it, is there are women who, after separation or divorce, cause so much damage that the relationship between the child and the father is even impossible to have. Because like you said, they hap and go on and on about insulting and being abusive and aggressive. And it's always very difficult when you're trying to explain to them that it's not the way to go. Because at the end of the day, you understand, I always say one thing, when you become a parent, you're no more the picture, you become the frame.
Yes,
so it's not
true.
about you anymore. No one asked you to make the mistake that you made. You need to understand that there are children, as a product of the relationship or the marriage, and they come first. And whatever it is you need to do to make sure that their father is in their lives, you have to do it because you owe them.
That's the truth.
Yes, that's it. That's it.
Because what you want for them is a balanced life, a balanced perspective. Because when you say that, some women do that because they are hurting. So they want to hurt. They want this man, let me remove him from their life to make sure, like a revengeance thing, I want to have revenge.
Yes. And a hurting woman or a hurting man
hurts people. And, but the bigger picture is they assume that most men will repeat the same mistake. So when we look at the bigger picture, remember that we are just, as you said, the frame. Is easier to make the right decision, even though it hurts. I can tell you it hurts.
So what are the ways that you think a father can actually use to, what are the ways that a father can develop to be able to play more roles in the life of their child? Is it by taking them to play football, by doing homework like you said, telling them that, what are the ways?
It's a little bit of here and there, but the first thing is this. You look at your schedule, you look at the children's schedule to their schooling time, create an environment, even in the home, where everybody can come and air out their view. Children, even they want to communicate, they won't come ask you one question, at disturbing times, just make yourself available. Those questions are the things in their heart at that moment. Answer it for them. Don't say, go away, you're disturbing me. You're pushing them off. You create a conducive environment where they can air their opinion, air their minds. You now build up on it. We have outings, you go out, they enjoy themselves. Ask them, what did you enjoy in that thing? You hear their perspective. Are they enjoying the right things or are they enjoying the wrong things? From there, you begin to correct what you need to correct. You augment what you need to augment, as in give them credit. From there, you look at the assignment. It's a continuous work, really. It's a continuous work. You keep adapting. But the aim is this. You are role modeling before them and making them your friend.
Yes.
So they won't go out there and look for another friend to say some of those issues to. You know? So you're being a role model because we know from experience, the daughters end up being attracted to someone like their father.
Unconsciously.
Without
not all the time, but
without
you know?
planning to.
And the boys would like to be like their father. They will want to live out married life like their father. So you have to be a good role model.
Okay. Thank you.
Balancing it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's obvious you have a fantastic relationship, and I'm really happy. You're
we remember them.
You're a very lucky woman.
Really?
Yes, I'm sure you are.
She's not lucky.
We paid the price.
Well, at least the end justified the means.
Yes, we're still working
You're
on
still
it.
working on it. Anyway.
When you stop working, it starts dying.
Thank you so much for being a part of the show today. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to Amazons. We've been talking about the reasons why fathers should play more important roles in the lives of their children. And also we've had guests here who've spoken about, given us advice on what they think fathers should do. Bimbo, Aisha, in conclusion, what do you think? How can they spend time and play more active role in the lives of those children that need them so much?
It is very important, both for the father and the mother, to play equal role, equal part in raising a child. In that way, we will have a better family unit, we will have a better society. For fathers who have been absentee fathers in their children's life, we hope that we have been able to communicate and give you more information about why you need to be more involved in the raising up of your children from this program.
Bimbo?
The ideal situation would be a husband and wife, but sometimes the ideal does not, work out. My take on it is that we keep trying. We keep showing as much love as we can. And I'll also ask women out there, you have a job to do. You pick your husbands, you pick the fathers of tomorrow. Make sure you're picking the perfect father for your child, not just the perfect man for you. It's extremely important.
Well, what I'll say is a father is not just a financial provider. A father is a nurturer. A father is someone who should protect. A father is someone who should discipline. A father is someone that should show love and be there at any time. Fathers, you are like a mirror to your children. So when you look in the mirror, if you like what you see, then you will like what your children will become. Till next time, keep watching.